Hello there, welcome back to my channel. This is Louise from Louise's Lifestyle. Thank you for joining me. Today we're looking at what has happened to my betel leaf plant. One of them, I should say. This is a Bangla Paan that I got last year. It's a youngish plant, and sadly, well, I was away on holiday from February, almost 6 weeks, 5.5 weeks I was away, and that was back in February. I came back in mid-March, and when I came back my plant had all these brown crispy leaves. Now before I went away I asked my adult kids just to keep an eye on the plants but not to water them. I gave them all a good water before I left. I said you shouldn't really need to leave them, water them. The plan was I was only going away for 4 weeks. I thought that that would be more than enough, you know, the water that I gave them. However, my stay got extended, and when I got back this was the condition, these brown crispy leaves. First of all, I checked to see if there were any pests on the leaves. There were no sign of pests, and the soil was very dry, and so I immediately gave it a good drink of water. Basically, I think what had happened during my extended stay, the heating was on here, you know, it was winter, heating was on, the air was very dry, and the soil, the compost, you know, soon dried out, and it was a lack of water that caused this brown crispiness. Now I've been back a month since, and thankfully it's putting out new growth. However, you might be thinking, why don't you get rid of those horrible looking leaves? You know, they look terrible. Well, bad as they look, they have still got large areas of green. So that leaf has got quite, you know, it's got quite a fair area of green. So has that. Most of them have still got, apart from I think this one, obviously this is about half and half, and the ones here, it's mainly the edges. So why haven't I cut those off or removed them? In the past, this has happened before, where the plants, sometimes, you know, it produces a bacteria. It can get bacteria on the leaf, and that can cause browning and crisping of the leaves, and it starts off as a little circle, and it expands, whereas this isn't bacterial, this isn't leaf spot. But in the past, when that's happened, I have removed the leaves to stop it spreading. However, it does weaken the plant when you do that, because each leaf, no matter how ugly, you know, and unsightly that looks, it's still capable of absorbing the sunlight. Sunlight is essential for the plant's growth, for the process of photosynthesis. If I put up a little picture here of what photosynthesis is, what that does, the leaves, even the brown and crispy ones, the area that is green will continue to absorb sunlight. Every leaf will continue to absorb sunlight if it's in a nice sunny position. And what they do, the leaves send that down to the roots, and it's processed, the plant processes that into energy. Food, if you like, for the plant comes via the sun. The leaves also absorb carbon dioxide, and they release oxygen. Like we absorb, well, we inhale or we breathe in oxygen and we exhale carbon dioxide. The plants do the reverse of that. The roots, in turn, they're fed by the leaves, and they expand, they get bigger and healthier, and they absorb the water, and if there's too much water, what they do, they send that back up into the plant, and the leaves will transpire like we perspire, we sweat. The plant kind of sweats, it releases water. If there's too much water, it will try and get rid of that water through the leaves. The more leaves it has, the more energy it can absorb, and it can get rid of more moisture. If there are only a couple of good leaves at the top, and then you've got a large root ball down here, it's got nowhere to send. You've only got a couple of leaves at the top, and you remove all of these, you've got less food coming in, you've got less leaf area to get rid of excess moisture. So as long as these leaves have got green on them, they'll stay on here. I'm not going to remove them. I've learnt that lesson in the past where I've done that. I've removed leaves when they looked a bit unsightly, and really I should have just left them on, and that had weakened my old plant. I had that for 8 years, and I think that's what I did wrong with it. When the leaves looked a bit brown and crispy, I was taking them off. And although you get new growth coming out, it takes time for that new growth to happen. So leave the leaves on. I know it's tempting if you're growing a betel leaf plant, a Paan plant, and you want to eat it, because a lot of people, Bangladeshi people, will eat the leaves. If you strip the plant of all the leaves, then it can't function. It can't do what it needs to do. So, you're removing leaves, it's not going to be able to absorb the energy from the sun, convert it into food. It's not going to be able to release excess moisture because there are no leaves on the plant, or you've only got a couple of plants. So that's why I'm keeping it on. And good news is, since I came back, obviously watered it, these are all new leaves that have appeared since then. So it is bouncing back, and there are signs of new growth, new stems appearing. So I've got at the bottom there's a little stem, you can see there, and I think tucked behind one of these leaves there's a new leaf appearing there, just here, you can see. And where the leaves join the stem, they have these little growth points. So eventually, when these leaves do fall off themselves naturally, from there will be new growth points. It's a bit hard to show on camera. If I can find one that's a bit more prominent, might be able to show you what I mean. There was one down here that was quite prominent. I've lost it now. Well, you'll have to take my word for it. There are, oh, there it is there. So you can see here, that little point, that's not a root, that's a new growth point. So eventually there'll be multiple stems on this, and as I say, that is my lesson for today, is even if your plant leaves look a bit unsightly, don't pull them all off and leave your plant bare, or just leave it with a couple of leaves at the top, because they still have a role until they're completely brown. Obviously, when they go completely brown, or they fall off themselves, then yes, remove them. But as I say, whilst they still have green on them, keep them on the plants. Let the plant continue to absorb as much sunlight as possible, and you'll feed the roots that way. The roots will be healthy, your plant will be healthy. So if anybody else is growing betel leaf and they're having similar problems with their plants, you know, add your comments in the comment box below. So thanks for watching, everyone. Take care. Bye bye.